Hi friends, today we're going to be doing the cluster add-ons meeting. It is September 29th, and thanks everyone for joining. We have a bit of an abbreviated agenda today, but a few things to discuss still. First off, I think everyone here has been on this meeting before, but any intros? Cool. As always, these meetings are publicly recorded and we have public agenda doc, so feel free to jump in and edit that if you have anything to add. As far as things that we needed to review from the last meeting, this was 2 weeks ago, I did join the KubeDM planning meeting to bring up add-ons. Santoshi was also there, but Sandeep was not able to make that one because of a conflict, but we did talk about what a supporting coordinates operator would look like. There is work happening this cycle as well to add skip phases to the declarative API for KubeDM, which will allow KubeDM to kind of have an official path to not be concerned with add-ons at all. So there will be a supported way to do that, and that's currently missing. So that's a step forward for the initiatives that we've been pushing here, and they're still interested as well as expanding the scope of what KubeDM will do with add-ons when it is dealing with them by default. So Fabricio also wants to set up a design meeting. As far as I've seen, this has not happened yet. I didn't receive an invite to it, but they are looking to do some considerable refactors or modernization efforts to bring KubeDM closer to what the design patterns of the Kubernetes community has moved to. They'd like to rebuild things a bit. And that includes the approach to add-ons with our APIs. And then, yeah, that was kind of the main thing that we needed to follow up on, as we did get a great kind of traffic going towards Santochi's blog post as well. Great job on that. And does anyone have any additional topics that they wanted to insert into the agenda before we talk about the other things? Cool. And then Daniel wasn't able to make it today, but he brought up doing Hacktoberfest for the Cluster Add-ons project. And I was wondering if we had any kind of like low-hanging fruit that we wanted to mark as a good first issue for that kind of thing. This is going to require an owner for sure. So if we can't get somebody to like go through and do a little bit of project management, which I don't have the bandwidth for right now, then we may have to skip on the Hacktoberfest stuff.
Possibly related, COPS is going to do Hacktoberfest, and I was going to try to focus on getting add-ons into COPS. So that's in the space. I was going to do like some sort of kickoff thing at 9 a.m. on Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, which is the 1st. And then I have yet to publicize that more, but hopefully there'll be some traffic there. I don't know whether people will attend. If they do, that's great. If they don't, then I'll probably just work on integrating into add-ons. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not clear to me how to publicize these things anyway. It's not clear to me exactly what people want. Like, do they just want to send PRs or things like that? I feel like Kubernetes already does a reasonable job, so it's a little bit of a different case for Hacktoberfest. But like, you know, the work that Santoshi did in Google Summer of Code, I thought was a great model for like a longer engagement with like more interaction. And I think trying to achieve that would be wonderful. So I don't know I don't know whether it's as important to triage issues as it is to sort of try to focus people on like meetings and out of band meetings and mentoring, and or like more like any questions or getting people going type thing, more than like I think having like 4 PRs sent by someone is great, but isn't really what our projects necessarily need as much as they need like sustained allowing people to work on it in a sustained way.
Yeah, we certainly in some of the areas that we're working in don't need typo fixes and like easy docs wins. But I don't know, maybe there are some documentation things that would be good first issues. Yeah, but I definitely hear what you're saying about like the need for sustainable development effort like over time, because we kind of reach the point in many of these areas where the context necessary to contribute is quite substantial. So you said you'll be doing a kickoff call at 9 a.m. Eastern on Thursday?
Correct. 9 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, which is the 1st of October. It should be on the SIG cluster lifecycle calendar. Okay. And I guess I'll publicize it. I don't know. Maybe I will dig out my Twitter account, see if I still have a login for that thing or something like that. But yeah, put it. We're also looking at experimenting with different hours for the COPS meeting, because it's particularly Europe unfriendly, because it is like noon Eastern on a Friday, which is best case 5 p.m. on a Friday afternoon for most of Europe, and more likely to be 6, 7, or 8. So
yeah, in the evening for people, dinner time. Great. Okay. Well, that's exciting. I might be able to join that as well. So I'll see if I can jump on from open. And...
sorry, I wanted to ask, like, what channels, like, how have you been able to share like the information around so like people know that this is happening?
I have it to do to share it. All I have really done so far is I hopefully have put it on the shared calendar for the SIG cluster lifecycle, although I don't see it myself, so I don't know. But yes, I need to do more on that. If you have suggestions, I'm very open to hear them. But yeah, it's supposed to be on the shared calendar. I don't even see it, so that's not good.
Like, is it open to like absolute beginners, or is it for someone who has like some knowledge in like the Kubernetes namespace?
I think it's open to everyone. We'll see who shows up. If we get a mix, it's going to be harder. But yes, like if you wanted to show up, you're obviously very, very welcome, and anyone is very welcome to show up. But yes, it's in theory open to anyone. I would hope we, there are some of the Hacktoberfest for like people that need explanations on how to send your first PR, which I don't know, it's probably not going to be a great match for like getting. I mean, it's not a terrible match, but like it's going to be a harder journey for those people. But we'll see. I guess we'll see who shows up. If I don't figure out how to publicize it correctly, no one will show up. So that makes it much easier in terms of not having people with different abilities.
Yeah, I guess we could like share it on like Kubernetes contributors channel, or like contribects like the SIG. I guess that's helpful, since it's not just like it's open to everyone. Yeah, and probably get them to tweet about it or something, so it's open to like the wider community. I just don't know, because it's okay. Yeah, we still have like a day. First is like the day after. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it sounds like you would be interested, Justin, and like kind of the mission of the meeting, like what you're kicking off is not just the feature support, but also the maintenance for the add-ons themselves, or because there's definitely a gradient of difficulties there.
You mean it is it is cops, so it's like getting them integrated into cops and like trying to like bridge any remaining gaps. Is sort of my interest, but it might be that when people show up, they have other topics of interest. Yes, and then like part of that will obviously be the ongoing operation. Like the big thing is just like getting the final pieces done for like some of the work that Santoshi did, and like just getting it merged. But also once I'm hoping I can get it basically there, and we can then have people build a lot of operators. I think that would be super cool. Like Santoshi like unblocked that process and made it really smooth, and so like being able to have operators for everything would be awesome and feels very manageable for people that want to just do drive-by contributions as well.
Yeah, I mean that gives us a much more like clear place to do the kinds of life cycle implementations that are tricky for people with installation and uninstall and that kind of thing. Okay, cool.
We also need to like drop like a short note on what the meeting is about, like,
Yeah,
and make it like interesting enough so that someone who doesn't really know what's going on would want to like come and check it out.
so I'm going to take some notes on action items here. We want to prepare some meeting notes, publicize within Kubernetes org, publicize. I'm going to say probably mainly within the Kubernetes org. There are a lot of contributors, floating around who are not actively doing something that might want to join and get involved. That's a pretty sizable group of people, and also like users who are lurking around in the community who may have that intention. And then we can see about maybe like doing something with Kate's contrib on Twitter. Maybe is that something we want to do?
Yeah, I think that's great too. That's still great.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily want 1,000 people to show up, so
Yeah.
But yes.
Do you think that would be a good thing to do, or should we avoid doing that, Justin, for this meeting?
I don't know. I'd rather keep it lower key, and like if no one shows up, I'm fine with like doing like live coding or something like that. But
yeah, so maybe
I wouldn't know what to do about it.
Let's try to focus on just communicating that this meeting is happening within the existing inner organizational channels. Yeah. So Santoshi, are you available to join this meeting then?
It's supposed to be a public holiday in Nigeria. So and I'm traveling home. So if I'm home before 2, then I'll definitely make it for the meeting.
Okay. It sounds like Justin's like working on several things right now. Would you be able to help him at least do the communications about this?
Oh, sure.
Would that be helpful, Justin?
Yeah, I could help out.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll say Santoshi to help on these items. Cool. So it's 9 a.m. Eastern on, and let's make sure that we ensure posted to SIG cluster lifecycle calendar. Okay. You get to work on some of the fun admin stuff that chairs get to do, Santoshi. Cool. Excellent. Well, thanks for bringing that up. It sounds like we have some good things to work on there to get the COPS stuff moving with a little bit more open inner organizational governance. Cool. I mean, the other thing beyond that, just about Hacktoberfest was, I know that we do have some in-flight KEPs. Oh, Nick just joined. One of the major ones that I just was thinking about was the OCI KEP that the folks from the OLM teams had opened up. And I know that KEPs are the perfect place for where good ideas go to die. So just wanted to check if we still want to focus on these things. I personally think that the ideas are sound, but I'm just spread a bit thin at the moment.
I think we could paste like the link to the caps in the doc, so like it's easier to locate.
Yeah, that would be a really high IQ thing to do. I'm struggling a bit on staying organized. This is going to be in the enhancements repo, and then it's one of those. The polls, this was about, it's like ACI add-on. So add-ons, there might have been a link to this in here.
Can folks hear me now?
Hi, Nick. Yeah, we couldn't hear you before, but you sound good.
Hi, cool, thanks. Yeah, sorry, we've been spread a little thin too over here, hence why I haven't even opened the add-on discovery cap, which I'm sure there's a ton of holes in. But I'll ask Evan where he is with the OCI cap. I don't think, like, everybody acknowledges it's a good idea. Nobody wants to actually accept it. Okay. So if it's something that's, it's been months, so maybe we should just like call it or something. I'll ask him what he wants to do.
Well, is a good idea, needs an owner. And then I'll just mention Nick to follow up with Evan. That would be really helpful, thank you.
Yep. Okay.
This is definitely something that Weaveworks is also interested in, how this develops. I guess it's worth mentioning that Weave has been doing I guess not very well publicized, but openly governed project on a thing we're calling profiles. That's based off of a Git repository. And it is a form of packaging of manifests. And in that working group, I did mention the work that was happening upstream and within OLM around OCI and shipping manifests inside of Docker images as a workaround. So there's potentially some, it's clear that there needs to be an open spec for sharing these kinds of things. Or at least we need to have some minimal way of discovering packages and pointing people to them. That's not just, some manifest at a URL.
Yeah.
A little bit of there's more formational work kind of happening here with Kept and its ability to kind of vendor and update other upstreams using Git. And this is all in the same space, so the kinds of uniformity and like that we could develop, with these various protocols, but also having that packaging specification would be, it's going to be important to get that right.
Yeah, this is something we've been spending a great deal of time like trying to redesign and re-implement, like in OLM land. And I think one of the things we've been going over is how Git-like tracking specifically layering additional metadata on top of existing bundles that's useful is in being able to like kind of originate and identify the original stuff and then the original stuff plus additional metadata. And then also, generalizing this and being able to use it in something that I don't think Addons has been too keen on doing, which is dependency resolution. So that's the other side of the coin with that. This is all to say that we have some kind of stuff coming out of the pipes in our enhancement soon that may help with defining these things.
Yeah, and then I've been having some close conversations with a Helm maintainer about what's happening with Artifact Hub as well. And I know that the Operator Hub stuff has been kind of merged up into Artifact Hub. Can you help me understand what the artifact that's actually being exposed there with Operator Hub is? Is that just a Docker image? It can't be, right? It needs to be. Is that the OCI image that's packaged?
I'm not sure. I don't believe so. I'll have to talk with Daniel Messer, who is the PM responsible for kind of pushing that side of things. Mm-hmm. It was my understanding that we had created a way to just ship Helm charts in Operator Hub, okay, rather than package Helm charts as operator bundles, which is our like image variant of the OCI
okay,
artifact for these things. So,
so that might be why that integration was more simple. There are other artifact types inside of Artifact Hub, mainly Falco rules and OPA policies. So there's already an interesting kind of assortment of styles of artifact and formats there, and this is kind of an official like CNCF sanctioned effort. So if we want to continue staying up to date with what's going on, and then before you joined, Nick, I don't know how much you heard about what Justin was talking about. James as well, you may have missed that we are having a kickoff meeting for COPS add-ons integrations at 9 a.m. Eastern on the 1st, which is Thursday. This is primarily kind of like for Hacktoberfest, but add-on discovery through a place like Artifact Hub, or at least having that conversation about how people are going to be able to find things would be important. That obviously crosses into the add-on bundles and Helm charts packaging for those things, as well as whatever Weave is accomplishing in the short term with profiles and Git repos. So, unfortunately, I lost the ability to take notes in parallel on some of these things, but at least we have a recording. So,
yeah. Cool. I'll try to be there.
All right. Well, we've hit the end of our agenda. Nick, James, I know you joined after this, so you kind of missed our call for topics. Did you want to bring up anything else in particular before we adjourn the meeting?
I think I'm good for my side for right now.
All set.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. It's always great to hang out with all of you. So we'll keep moving on these topics. Thanks, Justin, for the COP stuff. And we'll see everyone at a minimum 2 weeks from now, if not on Thursday, if you're able to join. So goodbye.